Our big question to you is, why do you think you don't like you? The answer that you give us is the whole reason that this gathering took place today. Why do you choose to think that you're not doing good? Why do you choose to think that?
Because I want to be better. So I feel like making myself not good enough is going to make myself good enough, because I want to...
Play that out again. I don't feel like I'm doing good enough, but what I want is what?
To be good enough.
Do you understand? We know you do. Do you understand what an opinion is?
Yeah.
It's just a thought you keep thinking. So my opinion is that I'm not doing as good as I could do. That's my opinion. What's your intention?
Do something about it.
To do great, to do good. This is our message to the entire physical human population. This isn't a personality contest. Let's all vote. How many of us think he's good? How many of us think he is? It's not like, no, we're not asking you that. Don't act human. What we're trying to get him to understand is we don't want him to care what you think. You know why? We love you so much. You're fickle. You're fickle. Nobody knows who you were coming in. Nobody knows what your intentions are. Nobody knows what you're living. Nobody knows what you've launched. Nobody who's human knows, but your inner being knows all of that. And your inner being is applauding you, you see. We know this seems like we took a long time, but this is at the core of everything that we teach. You have a point of attraction. Most people on earth do not know that. You understand that. You have a point of attraction. And how you feel equals what you're attracting. So if you're down on yourself, you collect evidence of that, and then you use that evidence to prove that you were right. Isn't that silly? So when you realize that how you feel is what you get, and then you have control over how you feel, you think you have control over how you feel?
Yeah.
We think you do. We think you're in a room with several hundred people, and we think you raised your hand with the brightest light in the room because you had a powerful question and an expectation of receiving an answer. And whether you got it or not, everybody else benefited by it because you broke it down to something so simple. I'm sort of kind of mad at myself. And we say, you sort of kind of got to not be mad at yourself, because if you're sort of kind of mad at yourself, no matter what the reason is, sometimes it's because your teacher disapproved of you, or your parents disapproved of you, or you're comparing yourself to this or that. It doesn't matter what the reason is that you're mad at yourself. You cannot improve when you're mad at yourself. It cannot get better when you're mad at yourself. You can't get what you want when you're mad at yourself. You can't fulfill all your dreams when you're mad at yourself. And being mad at yourself is a bogus misunderstanding based upon people who believe that there's a pie of well-being. They might think it's a financial pie. They might think it's a relationship pie, a goodwill pie. Humans think that there's this pie that is just this big. Not all humans, but a lot of them do. And they think that if that person gets a bigger slice of the pie, then the other people will be deprived of that. And so they tell each other, it's good for us not to take big pieces of the pie. We shouldn't let ourselves want big pieces. We should leave the pieces to others. And then that leads to seeing people who are taking big pieces of the pie because they understand that the pie gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This pie, called this workshop, was big enough to accommodate this important question. And at the same time that it accommodated this important question, it answered questions on lots of topics all around the room, didn't it? You don't deprive somebody else of something by giving up something you want for someone else. And most of the world is teaching otherwise. But you came with such powerful intention into this physical body that you stubbornly hold to that knowing and don't let yourself be convinced otherwise, even though a lot of people around you would be trying to convince you otherwise. I'm not talking about you, Mom. Most of the world is trying to get people to feel victim or to feel like they have to sacrifice. Hardly anybody really gets it, that self-interest is a real thing, and that the only thing that you have to do to accomplish feeling good is to want to feel good. You don't have to explain it to anybody. You don't have to perform in some way. All you have to do is just reach around for whatever thoughts are available to you in any moment and choose the best feeling ones. And as you do that, you'll get feeling better and better. And the evidence of how good you feel will be evident in your experience, your confidence, your friskiness, your feeling of vitality, your clarity. All of those things are byproducts of feeling like that. And then before you know it, this is our absolute promise to you. People will come up to you. Sometimes they already are. And they'll say, hey man, what's your secret? What is it that you've got going on? Why are you like this? And your answer is going to be something like, I stopped trying to please the unpleasables. And I started finding thoughts that gave me good feelings. And the more I did that, the more good stuff came my way. And then you'll say, and that's why this came to me, and this came to me, and this came to me, and this came to me. As fast as I find a question, the answer comes. And they say, how did you do that? I don't know. At some point, I just stopped caring what everybody thought. It confused me. It scrambled my brain. When I tried to consider everybody's point of view, I got nowhere. When I started just considering my point of view, I got everywhere. Yeah? This was a really good conversation. And this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment. Yeah. For a long time we said to you that first you have a thought and then you have a feeling response to it. The thought is a vibration. And the thought that you're thinking has a relationship with the way your inner being is thinking about the same thought. So first there is the thought, and then there is the indicator of the relationship of your approach to this thought and your inner being's approach to this thought. That's what your emotions are about. So we said first there is the thought, and then there is the feeling. This is a bit what our friend was wanting to get to earlier today. So then there's the feeling. After a while, there's the thought and then the feeling. Feel the feeling. There's the thought and then the feeling. Feel the feeling. And then there is a momentum of the thoughts. This is also what he was getting at. There's a momentum of the thoughts that it doesn't feel like you're thinking them, and you're not, because the law of attraction is delivering them to you and you're in the receiving mode. So, friends, you are receiving thoughts all the time. As you move around with each other, if there's a strong vibe or thought in the air, you can pick up on it. And so as you realize that the thoughts are out there and that you are susceptible is way too strong a word, but it's sort of kind of like that because you're attracting it, but you don't know it. Then it feels to you that you are vulnerable, or that you are a victim, or that you don't have control. But when you understand that there's the thought and then there's the feeling, and if you like the feeling and so you focus on the feeling, because you like the feeling, so you focused on the feeling, you focused on the feeling, yes. You focused on the feeling, you focused on the feeling, you focused on the feeling. Then, because you focused on the feeling, then there is the thought that responds to the feeling. Now, the thought and the feeling, it doesn't matter what's coming first, but now the feeling is the manifestation of the thought, and now you are moving into thoughts. Now you are really in the receptive mode. Now you are receiving from non-physical the answers to all the questions that you've been asking, the solution to all the problems that you've been aware of. Now it's really coming to you, and people are watching you and wondering what's going on with you. And all you know is that you are enlightened, you are enlivened, you are replenished, you are refreshed. That's the way it is always supposed to be. But humans, somehow you've gotten off on this track that you're here born unworthy, to prove yourself worthy through some set of standards that doesn't exist in the non-physical. It's just stuff that humans have made up in their comparison with one another, in their determination to make some right and some wrong. In other words, we understand how you come to it. We're just saying it's not working for you. It's not working for you at all. So the thought comes, then the feeling comes, then you deliberately start guiding the direction of your thoughts, and you start improving the way that you feel. And somewhere in there is when it switches from the path of least resistance to the path of more allowance. You just know things. You just stand as this being who is just attracting the best of the best of the best around you. And it's not the best that other people have defined as the best. It's the things that you have wanted. It begins to feel like you, that you are at the center of the universe and that everything is about you. It begins to feel to you that as soon as you think a question, the answer comes. And as soon as you wonder about something, somebody says something about it. In other words, you're not striving and struggling for your evolution. You are just naturally experiencing your evolution because you finally realize that your source energy in a physical body, creating as source energy creates. That's what that's all about. So you're going to have a lot of fun coming up. You are going to have a lot of fun. Things are going to occur to you. Jerry used to say to Esther, I don't have any trouble knowing that Abraham is real because they say things that you can't say. And then he'd say, well, what I mean to say is you say things that I didn't know you knew. And what we said is Esther's saying things that we know that now she knows. That's what it's all about. It's like, okay, you go explore. Okay, you remember what I want. Okay, you explore some more. Okay, you remember what I want. In other words, it's this back and forth thing. It's co-creating at its best. Is there something more?
No, I'm so satisfied.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be here.
Did you get dragged kicking and screaming?
I haven't raised my hand the entire day. And I just raised it now because I want my mum to be here.
Because?
Because she's in her element. And I know Abraham because of her. And I just want to see her happy.
Well, she doesn't have to be here to be happy. Does she know you're here?
Yeah, she's over there.
So tell us that whole story again.
Which part?
So you didn't raise your hand because?
Yeah, so we woke up really early today because we sat right at the back yesterday and we said we want to be closer to, better the chances.
So you laid down some tracks.
Yeah. And I didn't, and we even were practicing raising our hand this morning and I haven't raised it at all. And I've been poking my finger into my mum's leg now.
So you laid down some more tracks.
Yeah. And I was just you got to raise it yourself. And I did, and he picked me. But I still want my mum to be
Very
here.
odd how that happens, isn't it?
I know.
It was really just a lucky chance. Sarcasm doesn't sound good from us, does it? No. That's the way it works. That is the way it works. That's the way it works.
I know.
That's the way it works. And the words don't matter. The words don't matter. That's the way it works. That's how things come to you. And they're meaningful to you, maybe not meaningful to anybody else, but it doesn't matter because they're not coming to somebody else. They're coming to you. They're coming to you as an affirmation of, or as an emphasis, or as a evidence of, yeah.
And I truly believe, and I resonate wholeheartedly. If there's one thing that I could ask, even if it was just for this lesson of laying the tracks and experiencing the manifestation, my mum has a poem, and she's a poet, and she's got several poems, but there's a particular poem that aligns with the entire message of yesterday and today that I would love for her to read, if that's okay to request.
Nah. It's not her point of attraction, it's yours, sweet girl.
If I knew it off by heart, I'd say it right now.
Give it a go.
It starts with believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
And it's to do with asking it is given.
Yeah.
And I know that she didn't want to call it asking it is given because that's plagiarism.
That phrase was here longer than our book has been here, so that was plagiarism too, wasn't it?
And
now see, now we're out of the attraction and we're in the assertion. Can you kind of see what it is? In other words, it is a lovely thing, but it is trying too hard. We think it is really a wonderful thing that you feel about your mother the way you do. And that's the most important thing. Find the feeling of that. Just find the feeling of that. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Yeah. Yeah, really good.